This is Obi, and he's here to help me today to show how to groom your Papillon. This video is for Pap Haven Rescue Group, and it's going to help foster moms and dads take care of their little dogs and keep them looking great for their new homes. So after you've had your bath, it would be good to put your dog up on a table or someplace where they'll be more still. If you put them on a table, you might want to cover it with a towel to keep them from sliding. And the first thing you'll want to do is to brush them and comb them. After brushing them well, I usually take a comb and go through the coat. It helps gets down to the skin and remove any knots and tangles that would be under there. Obviously, Obi has a little tangle there, and if you just kind of work it with the comb, a lot of times it'll come right out. Then you would move on to cleaning their eyes, and you can just simply use a baby wipe and just take it in front of their eyes. I usually hold their eye closed and just wipe down the front of their eyes. In fact, a lot of dogs with runny eyes, this would be a good thing to do every day, keep their eyes looking clean. Then moving to their ears, just kind of fold back their ear, put a few drops of either commercial or homemade ear cleaner in their ear. Then you want to rub the base of their ear, hold it for a second, and let them shake their head. Then you can take a Q-tip and just putting just the tip of the Q-tip into their ear. You want to clean the little crevices and get out any residue of wax that might be left in there. Of course, if you see any signs of an infection, which would be a yellow or a black discharge, it would be good to take them to the vet and have that checked out. Then the next thing you do would be to clean the hair between their pads and around their feet. And there's two ways to do this. You can use scissors, and you would just lift their foot back, taking the scissors level with the foot pad, gently trim the hair away from between their feet. This helps the dog have more traction on slippery floors. It also keeps debris from getting between their pads and on their feet. A Papillon's foot, now Obi's got very hairy feet, and he's got a lot of the long wispy hairs, which are really, I think, cute. But to make them look a little more neat and tailored, you just brush them forward. And Papillon's feet are supposed to be pointed when they're groomed. So you would want to scissor around the edges of the foot, on both sides, and that gives it a nice and even appearance. You can also, if they have a lot of hair that grows upwards, you can brush that hair up and then either take your regular shears, or you can use thinning shears. Wait a minute, Obi. Shh. You can use thinning shears, which make a more natural appearance, and you would just go over the hairs that are sticking up and then brush down, and there you go. Now to use clippers on the bottom of the foot, I'll show you how to do that. Basically, it's the same technique. You stay level with the foot pad, and you would just take the clippers and go skim along the foot pads to clean away the hair that would stick up. And then you would trim around the outside of the foot just like you would the front foot with your scissors or your thinning shears. Also, Papillons tend to grow a lot of hair on the back of their hocks, and what you want to do is kind of brush that hair up and bring it out, straight out like that, and take your scissors and hold still up, just go straight up the back to make a nice straight neat appearance. Again, you can use the thinning shears and do it this way and get a more natural look. Okay, Obi, that was very good. And then, of course, the last things you would want to do would be the toenails and the sanitary. And for the sanitary, I usually use clippers, but you can use scissors also. So we'll do it both ways. With the clippers, you would want to hold the dog up, and you want to come up underneath very gently and take that hair off of his private area. And then if you use the scissors, you need to be very careful, and what you would do is just trim the hair underneath. Shh. Being very careful not to cut the dog. On the back end, you hold the tail up until you find their little rectum, and then just simply holding the shears parallel to the body, trim the hair away from that area. And then we're going to get Roper to show toenails, because Roper has very long toenails right now. Okay. This is Roper, and to do toenails, I generally put the dog under my arm. This holds them so they can't get away, and also keeps them from being able to bite you. If you take their foot and pull it back towards you, then you can get a good view of the toenail. And what you want to do is where the toenail bends. Now Roper's got white edges on his toenails, so they're easier to see where the pink is, and you never want to cut into the pink. And when you snip, you want to just cut that very little curve at the end. Now when you see at the very tip of the toenail, you'll see a black dot begin to appear, and that's where the nerve begins, and you never want to go further than that because you can cause it to bleed. If you do cause a bleed, then just put a little bit of the powder on there, or baby powder, cornstarch, something that helps to stop the bleeding. And again, you just take the very edge and give it a little snip. And so then you have a dog who has been basic groomed, and hopefully this has been valuable to you, and that you'll be able to use some of these hints and ideas in keeping your pet looking lovely. That was not good.
Why is it blinking still?